Sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. I think I found it now. What I've been looking for. Isn't it beautiful? It's got my head all up in the clouds. I think I found it now. Everything I want.
Hi.
Hello,
Big hello from Sugar and
Spice.
yeah, we are back with you in the sweltering month of April and we are sweating it out.
So hot.
It's really hot. So we thought why not come back with a couple of stories to help cool you off as well as us, the narrators. Yes, Preeti?
Yeah. So shall we start with a beautiful story from Shrija?
Okay.
Go ahead,
So
Shrija.
we start with, and of course we've picked up a couple of random stories for you. So no theme. This one happens to be from mythology, and it's something that both of us have really found very interesting. And this is the story of Lord Shiva. One of the many, many, many interesting stories. So one of the versions of this particular story goes like this. So back ages ago, when the sages were the holders of all the knowledge in the world, they were the smart ones. They conducted all these very special pujas and rituals, and they had become very powerful. So I think what is usual when you become powerful in a certain way, it was followed by arrogance, and our sages became extremely arrogant. So they felt that they were gods themselves, and when they started performing these rituals in front of the fire, they started manifesting without realizing it. This arrogance started manifesting itself in all sorts of evil forms that started leaping out of the holy fires. All sorts of demons and all sorts of creatures, ghouls, vampires. And this kept going, and they moved around spreading fear among the mortals. The last creature to emerge from this fire was a very evil looking dwarf, a very malignant looking dwarf, who leapt out of the fire laughing evilly. And this dwarf was none other than Apasmara. He was the holder of, or you could say the epitome of ignorance, arrogance, everything that wasn't right. And he started roaming around in the world, spreading chaos and arrogance and ignorance wherever he could. Things started falling apart. The gods looked down and saw what was happening on the earth below, and they went to the one refuge they always went to when they wanted help. They prayed to the great Lord Shiva. And when Shiva heard about this, he said, okay, I'll deal with it. And this time he didn't take any new avatar. He didn't transform himself into another powerful being the way he normally did to fight with demons and evil creatures. He came down in his radiant form, and he approached Apasmara, who was running around spreading chaos, and caught him and stepped heavily on his neck, pinning him on the ground. The dwarf squirmed and screeched, but he could not move because after all it was the Lord's foot that was holding him down, and held him down there. And Shiva began his beautiful Tandav Nritya, and this one was the Ananda Tandava, the one of happiness, the dance of happiness and the dance of bliss. And when he danced, one foot remained firmly on the dwarf. And that's how he controlled Apasmara, or ignorance, arrogance. And the story, what we get to learn from this particular story, of course the Devas and the mortals, all of them were very, very thankful to Lord Shiva. But see, we would wonder, isn't it, why he was a god? Why didn't he just destroy it, or why didn't he kill ignorance? But the fact is that you cannot kill ignorance and arrogance, because if you don't have that, how would you appreciate the good part of things, right? How would you appreciate knowledge, awareness, self-awareness?
It would become worthless.
Exactly, it would lose
Something
its
very
value. You
valuable.
need to have the contrast, and so Shiva taught us a lesson by doing that, telling us that you need to keep your ego, your ignorance,
check.
your arrogance in check. Keep it in control. It is going to be there. It exists in every human being, right? So if that is the case, hold it back. Know that it is there. Be aware of it. Self-awareness. That's what it teaches us. But keep it in control. And that's how Apasmara. If you will look at all the Nataraja
Yeah, I
figures,
was
you
just
will,
thinking that.
when he's in his dance form, you'll find one foot pinned, and you'll find the squirming dwarf below his foot. So I found this story so fascinating because it is so true. It is so relatable.
It is so relatable to this day. To
Exactly.
each one of us.
To keep it in control, we have it, but be aware of it so you can keep it in control. So that's my story for you.
And
hope
it's,
you
I
loved
think,
it.
when you talk about false positivity and talking too much about, it is okay to realize that you have those sides too.
It's
but
natural.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
It's natural, but how do you learn to deal with it? So
To
many things
regulate
in life.
it, yeah,
Keep
that
it
is
in
more
control, and that requires more strength than anything else.
It's a
So
wonderful
that's-
story.
It's a lovely story which I personally and both of us really liked, so we thought we'll share it with you. Now we move on to a very interesting Greek tale from Deepthi. Go on, Deepthi.
Yeah. So my story for the day is, like Shrija mentioned, it's from Greek mythology, and coincidentally, it's from mythology. Shrija.
Yes.
Actually, so a lot of stories which are related, which are similar, you will find in Hindu mythology as well.
Absolutely, because basically characters I think who they talked
Absolutely.
about are the same, right?
Yeah. So this is about a Greek goddess. Her name was Dimitri, and she was the goddess of harvest. She was the goddess of crops, of flowers, of the nature. She was the one who made sure that everything was bright and colorful and full of life. So she was the goddess of nature and of harvest, of crops, of food, of all the living beings on earth depended on her. So she had a beautiful daughter whose name was Persephone. She, both the mother and the daughter were, they were extremely in love with each other. They were always together. You could never find them alone. They would always be together, and they would be laughing, and it is their, being together which made everything look so beautiful and colorful
Harmony,
and
right?
vibrant. Yeah, the harmony was so important when they were together. And one day it so happened that Persephone was on her own. She was in the garden, looking at the flowers, and she was plucking flowers from the garden when a strange thing happened. The ground cracked and a black chariot emerged from inside with all dark black horses, and with the chariot came a very evil looking demon, or he was actually the god of death, but he was more like a demon because he lived in the underworld, and he was the one who decided the lifespan of people, or he would, like something like Yama in Hindu mythology. So he's also a god, but he's the god of death. That is also important.
God
right?
of the underworld.
Yeah, for the balance. But Hades was, he looked at Persephone, and he was awestruck by her beauty. He just couldn't take his eyes off her. So he actually decided to make her his queen. He wanted to take her to the underworld and make her the queen of the underworld. Persephone was abducted by Hades. She was taken by force. Of course, she was not ready to leave her mother and come. She was grabbed and taken to the underworld. And after some time, when the mother, Dimitri, she came looking for her daughter, she found out that she was not to be seen. And soon she started to panic. She was looking all around, but she couldn't find her daughter. She was very, very sad, and within some time, her sadness turned into anger. She just refused to give, the beauty and the life to the nature anymore. She decided that let everything go dry and let everything stop blooming, and let the nature completely stopped because of her anger and her sadness. So the gods, they went to Zeus. Zeus was the king of all the gods, and they went to him. All the other gods pleaded to him that something has to be done about this, and Dimitri was convinced by a messenger of Zeus that he would, send a message to Hades, the god of death, and somehow convince him to send Persephone back. This happened, but there was a catch there. Hades agreed that he would send Persephone back to her mother, but since she had already lived in the underworld and used up some of the resources, she was living on the resources that were there in the underworld, a strange condition was set. The whole year she could not be with her mother. Half a year she could be with her mother, and then half a year she should be with her husband. She should go down to the underworld. So, out of this condition, a beautiful thing happened, which we now call the seasons. They say that the time when Persephone would visit her mother, everything would be bright and shining, and everything would grow, the flowers would bloom, and that is how summer and spring came into being.
Beautiful.
And then the time when she would go underworld, she would go to the underworld and live with her husband when everything, and her mother was sad, and the nature also was, cold and freezing, and life wouldn't be very easy. Life wouldn't be very easy. So that time of the year was winter and fall. So the leaves would fall, and new life, still had to wait till spring. Everything was cold and frozen, and there was snow everywhere.
So beautiful.
So that is how apparently seasons came into being, and this happened every year, and that is how the 4 seasons came into being. I was so fascinated by the way they connected, science or the real life, what is happening in real life to. I think every culture has a history or has a story behind all these things. The phenomenons of nature, and it's so beautifully. The way they have weaved it into the
story,
real life. Yeah,
in fact,
so
you find
beautiful.
even today, Deepti, they use this theme of the weather and the seasons supporting the mood of the protagonist, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have the rain when something is sad,
gloomy.
Or, then you have trees breaking out into flower and there's happiness. So it's always been a very close
Absolutely.
link between seasons.
Absolutely.
And even the moods of people, or the way we think, the way,
Yeah.
of course, the way we dress. Automatically we dress to
Absolutely.
change, according to seasons. It's a beautiful story. Very
So the
nice.
way, so that was very, very fascinating when I came across this story. And in this scorching heat,
yes.
we should talk about summer. Why is summer so hot?
Exactly.
So then some relief that, Persephone is going to come back, and then it's going to be a little better after some
Yes.
time. But summer is, of course, the time when, new life comes up. It is required when the sun is all bright and shining.
Which is why we are here today, and we are going to leave you with these stories, and we are going to cool off in some really cool water. And you
Have
people,
some fun.
you people cool off with the stories that we shared with you. As usual, do give us your feedback. Yes, it's been a long while since we've been back, but we'll continue. So do give us your suggestions, your feedback.
We'll show you around. We'll also put some pictures. Shita.
Yes, yeah, we'll do that.
Some fun that we had.
Yeah, we'll do that. So you take care of yourself, and
Do
we
share
love
your
you.
comments, your feedback. Yes, and we'll be looking out for them.
Bye.
See you all.
Bye from
Bye-bye.
Sugar and
Spice.
Bye.